and welcome to Cozy Love Whispers. Settle in, get comfortable, and let tonight's chapter unfold by the fire.
Chapter 8, Part 1. Home is where the heart is. Nikolai. The morning sun streamed through the curtains, softer than usual, as if it knew today was different. I'd dressed twice already, changing from one shirt to another, before Mama finally laughed and straightened my collar herself. "Nick, he'll love you no matter what you wear," she teased, smoothing my hair with warm fingers. Before I could answer, a knock sounded at the door. My heart jumped. When Papa opened it, Hia stood there, tall and sure in his pressed shirt, a bouquet of pink roses in his hands. The sight rooted me in place. Roses. For me. These are for Nick, he said simply, his eyes finding mine across the room. I reached for them slowly, the soft petals brushing my fingertips. "Thank you, Hia," I whispered. But before I could follow him out, Papa's voice stopped us. "Zan, firm but not unkind. A word before you take my son." Hia nodded immediately and stepped inside. I lingered by the doorway, clutching the roses, listening as Papa led him into the living room. Two men speaking of my future as if it were both fragile and sacred.
I followed Nick's father into the living room, aware of my angel hovering in the doorway. "Angel," I said gently, "may I speak to your father alone?" Nick gave a small bow before slipping out. The gesture made my chest tighten with pride. His family had raised him so well. I turned my full attention to his father. "My son is young," he began. "This bond is new. You understand my caution." "I do," I answered without hesitation. "That is why I came to you, not only for your blessing, but for your guidance, from the very beginning." I drew a breath and continued. "Nick is my fated mate. In time, he will be the heart of my home. I want him to feel freedom there, to lead, to decorate, to shape it however he wishes. But for him to grow into it, he must first grow familiar with it." I leaned forward, earnest. "I will provide everything he needs. Today is only a visit, breakfast, and dinner at my home. But eventually, I want him to know that space as his own. My hope is that one day he'll stay the full weekend because he feels at ease there, because he knows the home is already his." I let the final truth fall from my chest. I may provide, but the house will belong to him. He will be its ruler, the one who gives its soul. That is my promise. Silence stretched between us. Then Nick's father's eyes flicked toward the doorway, one last glance at his son, as if checking his readiness before giving his answer. Finally, he inclined his head. "You speak with respect. My son deserves patience and gentleness as much as devotion. If you give him that, I will allow him to walk this path with you." I bowed my head, not as duty, but as gratitude. "You have my word." When I stepped back toward the doorway, my angel was waiting. His eyes met mine, wide and uncertain. I reached for his hand. When his fingers slipped into mine, warmth spilled through me in a way no vow could capture.
"Ready, baby?" he asked softly. "Yes, Hia." The words tasting both terrifying and sweet. The roses rested in my lap as we drove, their soft pink petals glowing in the morning light. I traced one with my fingertip, still stunned he had thought to bring them just for me. "Do you like them, baby?" Hia asked, one hand steady on the wheel, the other brushing against mine. "I love them," I admitted. "No one's ever given me flowers before." His eyes flicked toward me, warm and proud. "Then I'll make sure you always have them." I ducked my head, hiding a smile behind the bouquet. I remembered our first car ride together on the night of our date. Back then, his scent had made me nervous. So strong, so good, like my mama's cookies fresh from the oven. I wasn't used to a person carrying a smell that made my chest ache and my body restless. But now, it wrapped around me like safety itself. The car slowed in front of a small cafe tucked on the corner of a quiet street. Not fancy, just welcoming, with wide windows and the smell of fresh bread drifting out as the door opened. We found a table by the window, and he set the menu in front of me, though his eyes stayed on my face. "What would you like, baby? Maybe pancakes? Or eggs?" He leaned in, voice low with amusement. "Order both. I'll eat whatever you don't finish." "Hia, that's too much." It's never too much when it comes to my beautiful boy. Soon the table was full. Pancakes, eggs, fruit, coffee. I picked at mine carefully at first, but Hia watched me so gently that eventually I relaxed completely. Then he reached across and stole a piece of fruit from my plate. Hia! He chuckled, entirely unrepentant. Sharing, baby. Isn't that what couples do? You could have asked. I like watching you pout. The banter left me warm, lighter than I'd felt in days. As I lifted my coffee, I realized the knot in my chest had loosened entirely. The world outside could wait. For now, it was just us. 2 people at a table, laughing softly, the scent of roses still clinging to my hands. The drive grew quieter as we left the city behind. We passed only 3 houses, spaced far apart, each tucked into its own patch of land, before the road curved into something more private. A long driveway stretched ahead, lined with trees. I rolled the window down, wanting to feel the air on my face. It was different here, lighter, touched with the scent of pine and water. When I stepped out, the first thing I noticed was the quiet. Not the heavy silence of loneliness, but the kind that lets you breathe deeper. The house stood before me, white and shining in the morning sun. Its wraparound porch stretching wide, like arms open to welcome me. Beyond the porch, the land opened wide, green grass rolling into soft slopes, a neat garden bed waiting for color. My fingers itched at the thought of planting there, filling it with blooms that would sway and spill over. And just past the edge of the yard, a glimmer of water caught my eye. A small lake stretched out, calm and glassy, a narrow dock jutting into it, weathered but sturdy, reaching toward the horizon. The whole place felt set apart from the world, as if it had been waiting for me, and only me, to step into it. I clutched the bouquet of roses tighter, letting it all wash over me. It wasn't just a house, it was possibility. The pull of the lake was impossible to ignore. I let my steps carry me forward until I reached the dock, then lowered myself onto the edge, legs dangling, toes just above the glassy surface. The breeze lifted the hair from my forehead, carrying pine, water, and something warmer. Hia's scent clinging to me wherever I went. I could see it so clearly. Flowers in the garden, children's laughter echoing across the yard, Hia's arms around me as the sun set over the water. The thought made my chest ache, not with fear, but with a longing so deep it almost hurt to breathe.
I stayed a few paces back, watching him, my beautiful boy, sitting at the edge of the dock, sunlight touching his hair, the roses still gathered against him like a promise. I wanted to give him time, but my feet carried me down the slope toward him anyway, each step deliberate, careful, as though I might scare him away if I moved too fast. But when I reached him, he didn't flinch. He only tilted his head slightly, acknowledging me without words. I lowered myself onto the dock beside him. The wood creaked under our weight, the lake lapping softly at the edges. "It's beautiful here," he murmured finally. "It's even more beautiful with you in it, lovely." His cheeks flushed, but he didn't look away. Instead, he smiled, soft and shy, the kind of smile that made my heart ache with the need to protect it. "This dock was my refuge when I was younger," I admitted. "Whenever life felt heavy, I came here. But it feels different today, sitting here with you. It feels like it was always meant to be this way." He hugged his knees tighter, eyes shining. "I can see myself here, with you." Those words undid me. I reached out slowly, letting my hand find his. His fingers trembled, but they didn't pull away. They curled into mine, fitting perfectly, as if they'd been waiting for this moment all along. The dock held us, the lake mirrored the sky, and for the first time, I felt like the future I had dreamed of was no longer a dream at all. It was sitting right beside me, holding my hand. When I finally rose and extended my hand to him, he looked up at me with that soft smile and placed his hand in mine, as if giving me more than just his hand, as if giving me trust. He curled into my side naturally as we walked up the path toward the porch, my arm wrapped around him, and with each step my chest swelled with something I had no word for. At the door, I drew a breath, slid the key into the lock, and turned it. The latch gave way with a soft click. My father had stood in this same doorway with my mother, his father before him, and so on through generations. Now it was my turn, carrying on something that stretched deeper than the wood beneath my hand. I wasn't just opening my house, I was opening my life.
I walked in slowly, roses still pressed to my chest, letting my eyes move over everything. The living room opened wide, simple, almost stark. A long couch, a love seat, a television on the wall. No clutter, just the bare bones of a space waiting to be filled. To the left, a staircase rose, broad and polished, its banister gleaming in the light from high windows. Straight ahead, the kitchen, bright white walls, gleaming counters, and a large window over the sink that framed a view that stole my breath. The backyard stretched vast and green all the way down to the lake. At the center stood a wide marble island, 2 chairs tucked beneath it. I could already see it, baking with a small child perched there, flour on their fingers, the smell of something sweet in the oven. Hia coming home, leaning down to kiss us both. It's beautiful, Hia. He led me up the wide staircase next. 3 bedrooms, a guest room, an empty room waiting for purpose, and at the end of the hall, double doors opening into the master suite. It was enormous, filled with light from tall windows facing the lake. Soft white walls, dark polished floors, a wide inviting bed. He guided me through an archway into the bathroom, and my breath caught. It was larger than my entire bedroom at home. A deep soaker tub, a double shower fitted with polished jets, 2 walk-in closets, doors open like an invitation. All of this, Hia murmured, will be yours too, baby. Ours. He caught himself, eyes widening. I mean, when you're ready, no pressure. I reached up and pressed my fingers gently over his lips. Hia, it's okay. He exhaled slowly, then he caught my hand and brought it to his lips. The kiss was slow and tender, filled with so much that neither of us needed to say aloud.
Now, baby, my tone shifting to something almost playful. There's a special room I want to show you. His curiosity sparked instantly. A special room? I extended my hand, and he placed his in mine without hesitation. We descended the staircase and stopped at a door just off the kitchen. This used to be a bedroom, I said softly. My father's room. The first place he and my mother stayed together before my grandparents gifted them the house and moved into a smaller home. This room is where they began their life together. Nick looked up at me, wide-eyed. I drew a key from my pocket, the metal glinting in the sunlight, and slid it into the lock.
The door opened to reveal a vast, open room, white walls, plush carpet, curtains pulled wide to let golden light flood in. Through the tall windows, the dock and the sparkling lake shimmered beyond. At the far end, double doors opened out onto a private balcony, sunlight spilling across the floor. Wow, Hia, I breathed. This room is huge. He squeezed my hand and guided me toward another set of white double doors. He pushed them open to reveal a bathroom that looked like something from a dream. A large soaker tub wide enough for 2. A glass-framed shower, polished counters catching the golden light. Hia, this is so beautiful, I whispered. Before I could turn, he stepped close, his arm sliding around me from behind. His chin rested on my shoulder, his voice low against my ear. Nick, this whole room will be your nest. My breath caught. My nest? Yes, baby. Your nest. Your room. It belongs completely to you. No one can enter without your permission. This space is yours alone. Oh, Hia. I threw my arms around him, then broke away, walking back to the center of the room, and I spun. Arms lifted, laughter spilling out of me like sunlight, filling every corner of the empty space. Oh, thank you, Hia. I love it so much. Anything for my beautiful, perfect boy, he said softly. He held out a small key. I'll wait for you in the living room. Take as long as you need. When you're ready, come find me. I took the key, my fingers brushing his, and held it against my heart. He gave me one last warm look, and then he was gone, the door clicking softly behind him. The room was mine. My nest. I pressed the key to my chest and turned slowly in a circle. Sunlight streamed through the tall windows. The balcony doors stood wide and bright, framing the shimmer of the lake. The walls were bare, the carpet plush beneath my feet. Empty. Waiting. I placed the roses gently on the windowsill, their pink petals glowing in the light as if they had always belonged there. Ideas spilled through me like water. A low bed piled high with pillows and blankets, maybe some of Hia's shirts tucked among them. The thought made me giggle. That was the Omega in me. His scent was pure cinnamon comfort, warm and familiar. Lucky that my alpha smelled that way. Soft colors, pale pinks and creams, shelves for books and little keepsakes, a chair near the balcony where I could sit and watch the lake. I opened the balcony doors and stepped outside. The midday sun glittered on the water, turning it into a field of diamonds. I could already imagine a rocking chair out here, cradling our baby in my arms, while I whispered promises of love. Maybe next weekend, I thought, I'd invite Hia to bring me here for dinner. I would cook something special, then bring him into my nest, and finally tell him the truth, that I could give him a child, that he would have a legacy, someone to carry on his family's name. I already looked forward to seeing his face light up with that news. For now, I went back inside and lay down on the carpet, arms stretched wide, letting the sunlight pour over me. A giggle slipped out of me. This wasn't just a room. It was a promise. A promise of safety, of belonging, of a future where I could be both Omega and myself without fear. For so long, I'd lived within the edges of other people's worlds. But this, for the first time, felt like a world made with me in it.
Thank you for listening to Cozy Fireplace Stories. If you enjoyed this chapter, please like and subscribe so you won't miss what comes next. Let your body relax and let sleep find you gently, without effort, without worry. I'll be right here. I'll meet you by the fire in the next chapter.